heading. The kingdom of Alarion stretched far beyond the horizon, where golden deserts met deep emerald forests, and rivers shimmered like silver threads under the moon. It was a land of peace, ruled for centuries by the house of Seirat. But now, that peace trembled like a candle in the wind. The old king, Elaric Seirat, lay weak in his bed, his once mighty voice reduced to a whisper. Around him stood his 7 sons, the 7 princes of Alarion, each born of fire and fate, each carrying a destiny that would either save or shatter their kingdom. The eldest, Prince Arion, was the warrior, strong, fearless, and bound by honor. His sword had never tasted defeat. Yet behind his eyes burned a storm, a hunger for power that even he could not control. Beside him stood Darius, the second prince, the thinker and strategist. He spoke little, but his mind worked like a blade sharper than steel. The third, Kael, was the heart of the people, kind, generous, loved by all, though his compassion often clouded his judgment. Then came Leo, the fourth, known for his magic. He was born during an eclipse, when day and night collided, and with that birth came strange powers that frightened even the king. The fifth prince, Ryan, was wild and unpredictable, a wanderer who spent more time in the streets with commoners than in the palace halls. The sixth, Coran, was an artist, a dreamer who painted visions of the future he claimed to see in his dreams. And the youngest, Aidan, quiet, observant, the one everyone underestimated, had a secret no one yet knew. As the moonlight spilled through the tall glass windows, the old king's voice broke the silence. "My sons," he said weakly, "the heart of Alarion is fading. The crystal of light, which protects this land, is dying. Only those with courage, wisdom, and unity can restore it. You must go beyond our borders, into the valley of shadows, and retrieve the flame of life before the next eclipse. If you fail, our kingdom will fall." The princes exchanged glances. For the first time, all 7 realized they would have to journey together, not as rivals, but as brothers. Yet even in that moment, silent rivalry flickered among them. Arion believed leadership was his birthright. Darius doubted his brother's strength. Leo feared the darkness that called to his magic. And Aidan, the youngest, watched quietly, knowing something none of them did, that the path ahead would test not their swords, but their souls. That night, the wind howled across the castle towers. The 7 princes prepared for their journey, each packing his own truth and pride. Before dawn, they stood before the great gates of Alarion. The air smelled of rain and destiny. Kael turned to his brothers, his voice steady. "Whatever waits beyond, we face it together." But unity was fragile. As they crossed into the whispering woods, shadows began to stir. The trees whispered secrets of betrayal. Strange lights floated between the branches. Suddenly, a roar tore through the silence, a creature of smoke and bone emerged, its eyes burning like fire. Arion drew his sword, Darius shouted commands, and Leo's hands burst into flame. The forest exploded in chaos. In the battle, as fury, the princes fought like lions, each revealing his own strength. But the monster's power grew, feeding on their anger. "You cannot defeat what divides you," it hissed. Only when Kael shielded Aidan and shouted, "We are one blood," did the creature falter, for unity weakened the darkness. Together, they struck it down, and silence fell once more. When the smoke cleared, the princes stood wounded but alive. Aidan knelt beside the ashes, his hand glowing faintly. "This was only a shadow," he whispered, eyes reflecting a strange light. "Something greater watches us." No one noticed the mark that began to appear on his wrist, a glowing sigil shaped like a flame. As dawn broke, the 7 brothers walked onward, their path leading toward the valley of shadows. Above them, the sun rose red, a sign that destiny had begun its turn. And far beyond the mountains, unseen eyes watched their every step, waiting for the day when brother would stand against brother, and the fate of Alarion would be decided by the light within their hearts. Would you like me to continue with episode 2, Swords, where the princes face their next trial in the Valley of Shadows? The journey through the Valley of Shadows began long before the princes reached its edge. The deeper they went, the more the world seemed to lose its color. The bright greens of Alarion's forests faded into lifeless grey. Even the wind fell silent, as if the air itself feared to speak. The 7 princes rode together, but their hearts were uneasy. The battle in the Whispering Woods had shaken them, and the words of the dying creature still echoed in their minds, "You cannot defeat what divides you." Prince Arion rode ahead, his armor gleaming faintly in the dim light. His jaw was set, his eyes hard. He blamed himself for their near defeat. "We were weak," he said, his voice cutting through the silence. "If we don't fight as soldiers, we'll never survive what's coming." Darius frowned. And if we only fight, we'll destroy ourselves before the shadows do. Their argument sparked like flint and steel, while the others remained quiet, watching the cracks widen between their leaders. Aedan, the youngest, trailed behind. The mark on his wrist pulsed softly with light that only he could see. Every time it glowed, whispers filled his mind, voices calling his name, distant and familiar. He didn't understand them, but he could feel a presence guiding him, like a thread pulling him forward. He knew the flame of life was real, and he knew it was waiting for them beyond the darkness. By the second night, the brothers found shelter in the ruins of an ancient temple. The walls were carved with forgotten symbols, and in the center stood a stone statue of a woman holding a bowl of light. Leo studied it with fascination. "This place is older than Alarion itself," he murmured. "They say the flame once burned here before it was hidden away." Kael lit a small fire, trying to lift their spirits, but the shadows seemed to move even with the flames dancing. Coran sketched the carvings on parchment, his artist's mind lost in the beauty of the old world, while Aryan whistled softly to hide his fear. When the fire began to die, the air turned cold. The ground trembled slightly, and from the cracks, mist began to rise. The statue's eyes flickered with pale blue light. A voice, calm and ancient, filled the temple. "7 sons of Seirat," it said, "you seek the flame, yet your hearts burn with pride. Tell me, which of you is worthy to bear its light?" Arian stepped forward without hesitation. "I am the eldest. The crown is my burden and my right." The light dimmed, and the voice whispered, "Pride blinds you." Then Darius spoke. "Wisdom guides me. I will protect the realm with my mind." The voice replied, "Wisdom without compassion leads to ruin." Kael took a step forward. "I love this land and its people. My heart is pure." The temple shook softly, and the voice sighed. "Even love can falter under pain." One by one, each brother spoke, until only Aedan remained silent. The voice called to him. "And you, youngest son?" Aedan looked at his brothers, then at the glowing bowl. "I don't know if I'm worthy," he said quietly. "But if the flame can save my people, I will face whatever I must." The temple grew still. The statue's hands began to glow, and the bowl of light flared with color. "Humility," the voice whispered, "is the seed of true strength." A beam of light shot from the bowl and struck the floor before Aedan, revealing a hidden stairway descending deep into the earth. Without waiting, Aedan started down, and the others followed, the glow from his wrist lighting the way. The tunnel led to a cavern filled with mirrors, thousands of them, reflecting not just their faces, but their fears. Each mirror whispered something different. Arian saw himself wearing a crown forged from his brother's bones. Darius saw the kingdom burning because of his choices. Kael saw the people turning against him. One by one, they began to falter, caught in illusions of their own making. But Aedan, as light grew brighter, he placed his hand against one of the mirrors, and it shattered, the sound echoing like thunder. "There lies," he said firmly. "The shadows feed on what we fear most." His voice broke through the illusion, and one by one, the mirrors began to crack. The cavern trembled, and from its heart emerged a crystal flame, small but brilliant, hovering in the air. As they approached, a figure of darkness rose from behind it, its voice cold and deep. "You've come far, Princess of Alarion. But light cannot exist without shadow. To claim the flame, one of you must stay behind." Silence fell. The brothers looked at one another, each knowing the cost. Arian gripped his sword, ready to sacrifice himself, but Aedan stepped forward first. "If it must be done, let it be me." Before anyone could stop him, Aedan touched the crystal. The flame burst into brilliance, flooding the cavern with golden light. The darkness screamed and dissolved. The other princes shielded their eyes, and when they opened them again, the chamber was empty, except for the flame of life, now glowing where Aedan had stood. Kael fell to his knees. "He's gone," but then the flame pulsed, and a voice, Aedan's voice, echoed softly. "Not gone, just where the light begins." The brothers bowed their heads in silence, realizing that the youngest had done what none of them could. He had faced the shadows within. And as they carried the flame back toward the world above, dawn broke over the valley, painting the sky in gold. The journey was far from over, but hope had been reborn in the hearts of the 7 princes.